Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian at the 8th Halifax International Security Forum in Nova Scotia, a gathering of leaders from 70 nations around the world talking about diplomacy, military, strategy, economic development, and we have with us Vadym Prystaiko, who is the Deputy Foreign Minister of Ukraine. Sir, thanks very much for joining us.
Sir, thank you. It's a pleasure.
One of the big topics of conversation here obviously has been the election of Donald Trump as the 45th President of the United States. And there have been concerns. Well, one of the concerns that was expressed by Senator McCain was whether or not Ukraine becomes a bargaining chip. The Trump administration is expected to have a little bit warmer dialogue with Russia, obviously because some of the campaign statements that Mr. Trump made during the campaign, and his national security advisor has also expressed some greater interest in working with Russia, particularly because of the view that ISIS is an existential threat and that should be a priority. From your standpoint, what are some of Ukraine's concerns with this? Have you been given any assurances? Have you had any conversations with the Trump team that give you confidence that Ukraine will not become a bargaining chip in the wider battle against ISIS?
Thank you for this. What we are missing here in the forum, that's the Trump team. Everybody would be happy to talk to them to actually understand. We can talk among ourselves how many times we'd like, but there are really questions whether the team will be different and what we can expect from this team. What we are finding out so far that everybody is just expressing their concerns and also expressing their expectations. That's made me to cross the ocean and came on 3 flights to get here to hear what people are thinking. So far, I'm not very much convinced that this team, the new team, understands what they will be doing with all these things. But that's natural. They're just starting. They are finding their people. They're finding somebody who will be advising them. That's why Senator McCain's words were very important. The other people who were here, that's exemplary important for us. The problem is, what is the truth in that? Will it happen or not? That's everybody have to still wait to say.
If you were talking to the Trump team or you want to give them a message, what's the message that you want to deliver to the incoming administration?
That's a bit simple because my president already talked to Trump over the telephone. And it was the message that, and I am happy that President-elect Trump responded that he is very much concerned with Russian aggression. That's exactly the words he used. That gives us a chance that he has the broader view than many people speculated. This is important. What we are doing as a foreign affairs, we're trying to get to the team, and we're not in a hurry. We understand that everybody is trying to do the same, and these people just overloaded with this attention. We will have to understand what we're doing, and also very important, what the Republican establishment is doing. There was a war sort of between the establishment and team. I don't believe that will stay for long. The team of the president-elect and the establishment will go together. The professionals, both in the security and military and foreign affairs, will come together and we'll understand, we'll set the cards on the table, they'll understand what the picture is. I'd like us to be on the very top of the agenda. That's what we're trying to do.
You were Ukraine's ambassador to Canada. You also have a lot of experience in the United States and elsewhere in the world. Sanctions, the next phase is whether or not sanctions get extended over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. How do you see that process going forward? Do you have any assurances from countries that the sanctions are going to be not only sustained but potentially increased, as some people are calling for?
That's a good point. The last year, and especially around June, July, we were worrying, frankly, that this won't be the another rollover. Now the situation is that everybody is not even thinking about not rolling over the sanctions. That's a change in the mood. And it's not because of us. We managed to explain people. We're trying our best, but at the same time, Russia is doing worse and worse, especially Syria supporting the terrorist organizations everywhere around the globe. What is more important, that what you're just telling, people were asking, should we roll over? But we're asking, guys, if the sanctions are not working, as everybody used as excuse, should we increase them, that they would work? That's our position that we're trying to bring to the partners. And I have to remind you, there are 2 sets of sanctions. One is about Crimea. It's not moving anywhere. This problem is frozen. It's not moving anywhere. Another set of sanctions is for the east of Ukraine. I believe the sanctions should be adapted to the progress. If we have the progress, which we don't, I believe the sanctions can be and should be raised.
Let's go to the question of lethal aid. Obviously, that's something the Ukrainian government wanted from the United States and allies in Europe. Senator McCain spoke eloquently about how important it is to give Ukraine the tools to be able to fight for its own defense. Other members have said the same sort of thing. The President of the United States did not want to take that particular step. Do you see an opportunity now, whether it's working with the U.S. Congress or working with the new administration, to put that back on the agenda? And if it's back on the agenda, what are the kind of systems Ukraine needs to better defend itself against Russia?
Two dimensions. Talking just briefly about the outgoing administration, which was not very, very happy with providing us with weapons. I have to remind you that it was the only administration which never sent their president to Ukraine or anywhere close. He spent 8 years in the White House. Everybody, every president before showed some sort of support to Ukraine, especially now when we are in a war. We expect it to be at least, given some sign of support. And that's about the lethal weapons. There are two dimensions in lethal weapons. One is really protect ourselves from things like tanks, the waves of tanks they can throw at us. And I have to remind you that they have more tanks than Bundeswehr right now. They've been telling that they bought in a local superstore. I very much doubt. I know Ukrainian superstores, they're not that rich. They're good, but not that rich. Another dimension to it, this is very much as a political sign of real support. When you allow somebody to have the advanced weapon, when you arm them with the weapons, you're actually providing the hand and support that we are guys with you. Talking about some particular things, what we were doing, we were very successfully using the anti-radar systems. But every day we are talking about kinetic lethal weapons. And I have to remind you, we're now producing ourselves. We have all the technologies needed. We need some technological breakthroughs. I believe we can work not even in pieces themselves, which there are very important pieces we have to have, but to save time and save money. We're already throwing 5% of GDP in defense. I could come at the audience and tell, guys, you're talking about 2? Look at us. We are not in the best shape financially. We are spending 5% even more. So we will bring the rocket technologies and other advanced technologies to the top. We just need the time, and we need the support.
Is there going to be a renewed drive to get back into NATO, or not to back into NATO, but to revive the discussion?
No, I like it.
Yeah, I know you like it, but to get back on the agenda, to get it on the NATO agenda, to become a NATO member.
I was deputy chief negotiator in 2008, just before the Bucharest. It was, a real tragedy for us that we didn't even receive the membership action plan. I was recently in Brussels, and when I was asked the same question by the ambassadors of NATO, I told openly, yes, I know that some of you might not like this answer, but yes, we are going to, and our intentions are very clear, we are going to become member of the NATO. We know there are homework which will be done. We are doing it. We are standardizing. We have many things to accomplish. But the will, political will, and a support, which is most important. Remember the factor which we didn't have at the time. We have 13% of support. Now we have well beyond 60.
Sir, thanks very much for joining us, and best of luck.
Thank you.